Today news. Latest news. Please support our work. Von der Leyen puts EU politics before European lives. Thank God we're out. The Germans know Ursula von der Leyen as their worst ever defense minister, a woman who left her nation's military unfit for combat and in a weakened state. And Germany, my friends, is a hotly contested title. Just look at the quality of the contenders. We've had Jaques Delors trying, and failing, to bully Britain into backing a federal superstate, Jaques Santer, who was forced to resign in 1999 over a corruption, fraud and nepotism scandal, labeled the biggest crisis in EC history, and of course Jean-Claude Juncker, no stranger to a cheeky livener and a man quoted as saying, "When it becomes serious, you have to lie." Decent contenders all, but for my money the woman known as VDL, even if it does sound like a particularly specific form of sexually transmitted disease, blew away the competition yesterday when she seemed to admit that the deaths of countless Europeans was a price worth paying for the narcissistic EU political project. She was quite rightly under attack for her appalling handling of the EU's COVID vaccination program, which has seen the UK successfully vaccinating almost 15 million people, while other European nations have barely got out of the starting blocks. VDL said that EU's cumbersome, centralized, and arguably negligent response had been slow but necessary, and that allowing countries to make their own COVID arrangements would have led to vaccine nationalism. Specifically, she said this. What would that have meant for our internal market? And for the unity of Europe? It would have been, I think, the end of our community. See what she's saying there? If some of you plebs have to cop it, well, tough. So long as our sacred EU dream remains intact. That is what matters, that is what must be protected at all costs. I don't think you need to be a trained epidemiologist to surmise that delays to administering the COVID vaccine will result in excess deaths. But that EU is still against member states dealing with their own COVID problems themselves. It seems so damning, so psychotic. I've tried to find another way of interpreting those words, but I simply can't. And maybe she misspoke. But this is a supposedly hyper-intelligent woman with more doctorates and diplomas than most of us have GCSEs. For a clever woman, she doesn't half come across as thick.